Clerk?
Mayor Joseph,
Here.
Councilman Galvin,
Here.
Councilwoman Keys,
Here.
Councilman Bienerme, Vice Mayor Desime.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We'll proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance being conducted by our dear new Chief of Police.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And can you kindly put your right hand on your heart and repeat with me? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Manager, no, actually we'll proceed with invocation with Minister Smith.
Let us bow our heads. We bow our heads tonight in humble hearts and humble minds. Father, asking you to lead the leaders that you have placed over this great city, asking you to lead them and to guide them in all matters of truth. Father, asking you that they will stand united, strong in honor and respect one to another for the good of the cause of this city, asking that you would keep them and their families and this city and their families protected and covered. We pray tonight that every decision that is made will be for the improvement, for the upbuilding, and for the strengthening of this city, that its name will be well represented here and far beyond. This we pray in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you very much, Minister Smith. And we'll proceed with our agenda by asking the city manager to please address any additions, deletions, or amendment that may be made to this agenda before we proceed.
Nothing at this time, sir.
Okay, so Mr. Attorney, it is my understanding that the agenda is now set, unless you have any.
No items, Mayor.
So we may proceed with the agenda. So let the record show that the agenda is now set, and we'll continue with some special presentations. Let's do the other ones first, and then we'll do the budget. The first presentation is a certificate of recognition presented to Spring 2016 Employee of the Quarter. So who's going to come and do it? That would be the city manager? Huh? I don't know.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call Animal Control Officer Mike Fuentes to the front, please. And I'll tell you a little bit about why he received this award. One case in particular that I'd like to point out was Michael Fuentes went above and beyond the call of duty when he went to a local resident's house, observed an animal in the back that was in very poor condition. The bulldog, who they called Astro, was tied to a tree in the rear of a residence with a 2 to 3 foot long leash. The short leash forced Astro to lay in his own feces while being exposed to the elements without proper shelter, food, or water. Based on Astro's condition, it was apparent to ACO Fuentes that the dog was the victim of cruelty and neglect by the owner, which most likely occurred over several weeks or months. Michael Fuentes immediately took action, not only wrote the violations, contacted the police department, a case report was written, the gentleman was arrested for animal cruelty, which was a felony crime, and obviously was punished for the bad deeds that he did. this is just one example of some of the things that he does every single day. I can go on and on about the things that he does, but obviously I have a very short amount of time. But I am very proud, not only as his boss, but also as his friend, to present Michael Fuentes with the Employee of the Quarter for spring 2016. It comes with a gift card and a beautiful plaque of Michael Fuentes.
I just want to thank the council people and the mayor and the city manager. It's nice to be recognized, and I appreciate this award. Thank you very much.
The next one goes. Oh, we're gonna have a big unveiling tonight of the North Miami's 90th anniversary quilt by. How am I supposed to say that? So and so quilt. That's what you get for electing a non-American mayor. And crochet group. So in this the year, so we're pretty much going to ask the whole group to please come forward. And Miss, at this point of time, you know what? I'm going to let Miss Angela Ramos take over. What am I doing tonight? I didn't have my Wheaties. So Angela Ramos, please, you're going to come and do the special presentation.
Good evening, everyone. We would like to this evening present to you all the quilt that our So-and-So's organization in the city of North Miami has been meeting for a number of years, over 35 years, in the Griffin Center, and they have a number of women that have spent over 1,200 hours, both in research and historical, and in partnership with the Historical Society of North Miami, to develop this amazing quilt that you're about to see that we're going to have tonight here. And we're also going to have it available for people to view at the July 4th event. And we also are going to have it on display throughout the year in various locations. So we do want to, at this time, recognize these 17 active members, and in a moment we'll unveil it. Then they'll tell you just a little bit about it because it's phenomenal. It tells a story, and it talks about the history of our city from 1926, its inception to now. So we really would like to, at this time, welcome the So-and-So's, Grace and Linda, and the entire group that's here to join the elected officials, our city council and mayor, to do the unveiling. Yes, ladies, you can go on the other side. Come on the other side so you can be. As some of you may or may not know that over the past 10 years, this group has donated hundreds of quilts to the Lotus House, the North Miami Senior Foundation, and baby quilts to HIV-infected babies through the ABC Quilt Organization. We also would like to also thank the Historical Society, who has representation here this evening. So if you can join us as well, Gail, so you can come up. And whenever you're ready, Mayor, and I know Councilman Galvin, this is near and dear to his heart. So we, whenever you're all ready, we have Historical Society joining us. One more lady's coming, and then. Yes. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And at this time, we'd like to call Grace to the podium. So she is the lead with the So-and-Sos and the spearheader of this great project with Linda and all these amazing ladies that are just a hoot. I have to tell you, I've spent some time with them, and they really are very dedicated. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hi. When we first conceived of the quilt, we thought we'd put it in a bookcase form because we could include more of the history of the city of North Miami. So all of the books have titles on them relating to the history, historical people, dates, also like cultural icons in the city of North Miami, plus all of the recreation and facilities and parks. As you go along the quilt, we included pictures. The first picture that you see is of the original library with the spire, and if you look closely, you'll see the pumpkin on the spire, which Moxie's Army would put on every Halloween. So that became kind of a focal point for Halloween in the city of North Miami. Underneath that is the original City Hall, but it was a town hall, because if you look in the picture, you can see that it says Town of North Miami. So that's a real old one. As you go along, probably a lot of North Miami kids got their first pony ride at the Enchanted Forest. And if you flip up the saddle blanket on the pony, it says pony rides. So just to remind you. As we go along, what is it, the pineapple? There's a pineapple is included because of the agricultural roots of this area, and the early settlers farmed pineapples. Then, of course, the Seminoles were the first inhabitants of this area, and we have the most inauthentic Seminole doll made by the most talented North Miami citizen, Linda. So this wasn't something that we went out to and bought from the Seminoles. She made the doll. The next is a little house, and on the roof of the house is printed all of the neighborhoods in North Miami. So we hope that you'll pick out yours. And then the sidewalk, I hope you notice the sidewalk. Barbara Cool kind of took pictures of the sidewalks in North Miami and very meticulously translated that onto the sidewalk there. Then what's underneath that? The Arch Creek and stuff, yeah. And then on the other side, what do we have?
You have the pioneers. You tell about the pioneer fountain? The fountain?
Oh, yeah, the fountains, right. You see the fountains. Oh, okay. Okay. And then the next is an open book that lists all of the schools in North Miami, including the dates they were opened. And this was researched by Gail Doyle. And then, I do have this thing memorized. What's next? Oh, yeah. And did you all know that North Miami had a polo club? So you will now when you look at the quilt. It's pretty cool. And then underneath that, of course, we just had to have the typical bathing beauties that were in parades in the 40s and 50s.
You can look here if you want. Over here.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Of course, we also have the little bus that goes around, the Nomi bus, and the bus and the tiger. Did you all know that North Miami had a zoo at one time? So that the tiger represents the zoo, and they were appliqued by, I mean, when you look at this, it looks like it's printed on fabric because the applique is so good, and that was done by Bridget Ledette. And then, of course, we had the mocha, and underneath the mocha representation of the modern art is the first school in North Miami, which was built in 1905. That picture happens to be from 1911, but anyway. And then next to that, we have a vase with orange blossoms in it. The orange blossoms were crocheted by Joyce Yearsley, and Bridget, again, did the applique and the embroidery. I hope you notice that the embroidery is like the logo of North Miami, and the colors with the chartreuse and the blue. Okay, I think that's it. And, oh, and we included in one of the books, Ivan Tour's studio, and you'll see a little dolphin, because I'm sure you all know that that was the company that made the Flipper TV show. So we hope when you look at this quilt, memories will be evoked for longtime North Miami residents. And for new residents, I hope you get an idea about what makes North Miami so unique. So we hope you enjoyed the quilt, and congratulations on your 90th anniversary.
Thank you very much, Grace. We will continue the, I'm holding in my hands a beautiful bouquet that contains lots of materials, fabrics that will continue the wonderful work that you have started years ago. So on behalf of the whole City Council, please receive this.
Thank you.
So we can continue to, you can go to
Are you okay? I'll hold you. Oh, I'll just go.
For your information, I think Ms. Ramos has a request as to where this quilt should be displayed. It is our library, if the group doesn't mind. The North Miami Library.
Should be a little bit
You can talk to Ms. Lucia Gonzalez.
on the 6th. I'll
Yeah.
turn this for you.
That's it, right?
Yes, thank you.
This is
Thank
it?
you, Andrea.
This is it?
Yes, sir.
That's it?
And then we have the budget presentation.
Okay, at this time, we're going to ask our budget director to please come forward. Mr. Terry Henley and Finance Director Miguel Augustin.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Terry Henley, Budget Office. I'll be presenting the second quarter budget presentation for fiscal year 2015-16 tonight. The presentation, it will include revenues budgeted and collected, as well as expenditures budgeted and collected, and then follow up with a brief recap of the second quarter. General Fund Revenue Summary. This is an overview of major revenue categories of the General Fund. I will discuss each source in more detail in the coming slides. But overall, in our total amended budget of about $60 million, we have collected $35 million, or 59% of the expected revenue through the second quarter. Taxes. Ad valorem taxes are property taxes. To date, we have collected 85%. Which is a high percentage because the majority of property owners pay their taxes at the beginning of the year. General sales and use taxes is at 34%. This includes the local option gas taxes and taxes we receive from other agencies. Franchise fees is at 36%. This includes FP&L, natural gas, Waste Pro, bus bench revenue. Our utility service taxes, which includes revenue from FP&L, natural gas, fuel oil taxes, and propane taxes, is at 50%. Communication service tax is at 28%, and this includes telecommunication, videos, direct-to-home satellite, and related services. The bottom line for taxes is that we're at 69%, which is exactly where we were at last year at this time. License and permits, occupational license and permits or occupational licenses are at 98%. This collection percentage is high because users are to pay this at the start of the fiscal year. Building permits are at 56%. This is on target for the year. Other license fees and permits are at 38%. This includes the money we receive from MediaNet and billboards. Overall, we're at 61% for license and permits for the second quarter. Intergovernmental revenue, the first item is a state grant. This includes a grant the city was recently awarded from FDOT for the Florida Highway Beautification and Grant Council. We also have state shared revenues. This is your half-cent sales tax and state revenue sharing. We're at 50%. 53% here. Shared revenue from local units is at 23%. This is occupational licenses from Dade County and occupational licenses from the Dade County contractors. Overall, for intergovernmental revenue, we're at 52%, which is on target. Charges for services. The first line includes passport application fees, hardest hit, zoning compliance, and minimum housing review fees. We're at 89% for service charges. Public safety includes burglary alarm fees, San Souci guard gate reimbursement, and miscellaneous police revenues, and we're at 34% here. For the physical environment, this is where our sanitation and lot clearing fees are charged, and we're at 55% here. Cultural and recreation fees are at 66%. This includes the fees that we receive from the swimming pool, tennis revenues, summer camp, stadium, and facility rentals. Combined, we're at 59% for recreation revenue. Fines and forfeits. Judgment and fines, this includes code liens, amnesty program settlements, and we're at 54%. Library fines, we're at 179%. Violation of local ordinance, this is code fines, and we're at 112% here. Other fines and forfeits, 121%. And last year, other fines and forfeits included the red light program, and it was estimated to generate about $2.1 million. We no longer have this revenue source, but overall, fines and forfeits are at 81%. Miscellaneous revenue, interest and other earnings. This is the interest that we collect off the money we have in the bank. We are at 79%. Rents and royalties, this is the money we receive from the Oaks, land leases, and other rental units we have. We're at 160%. Contributions and donations are at 60%. This is comprised mostly of the money we receive from Alluda Partners and the third-party maintenance agreement. Other miscellaneous revenues, this source is typically comprised of risk refunds, and this year it also includes Solomia proceeds. As a result, we're at 194% overall for miscellaneous revenues. Non-revenues. Non-revenues are journal entries and interfund transfers between funds. It's what the general fund department pays into risk management and motor pool funds. Contributions from enterprise funds. This is what the water and sewer and stormwater funds pay into the general fund for services like legal, IT, and fleet. And the non-operating source is the money that you have sitting in the reserves. This slide represents the revenue collection rate comparing this year to last year, where you can look at variances. Overall, we're at 59% compared to last year's 44%. A few of the variations are charges for services, fines and forfeits, and miscellaneous revenue. For fines and for taxes, you can see that we're on target, same as last year. For fines and forfeits, we saw operational efficiencies this year because we transferred the code over to the police department. Charges for services, this is the percentage where it really should be. Last year it was artificially low because of postings were behind, but this year we are up to date and it's where it should be. Miscellaneous revenue, this is a tribute to the sale of the proceeds for the Solomia payment. General fund expenditures. Our overall expenditures for the second quarter for our general funds at 54% this year. which is 3% different than last year. As you'll notice, even though we're halfway point here, some departments have spent a little more than 50% of their budget, but this is normal, considering pension and encumbrances make up about 11 million out of the 32.8 million you see spent through the second quarter. Specifically, pension, we pay that at the beginning of the year, and that's about $8 million, and encumbrances came out to a little more than $3 million. MOCA is the exception here, and it's an important department to mention. I can highlight that the museum has spent 80% of its annual budget through the second quarter. And to recap, this slide is a recap, and you'll see for the second quarter, revenues are at 59%, and expenses are at 54%, which are both on target. And with that, I'll bring up our finance director, Miguel Augustin, with the finance portion of the presentation. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Good evening, Council. Essentially, what I'm going to talk about is just the cash state of the city. I don't have a presentation. I'm just going to talk about the numbers. Cash in the bank as of the end of the second quarter was $48,218,000. That's how much we have for operating cash. It's essentially what we've collected and what we use for paying the bills, what we use for handling the payroll and handling the debt service and so on and so forth. Overall cash in the city is at 71 million, 11 of which is in an investment account, which we have for the landfill remediation. We also have 2 million in utility deposits, 2.2 million. That's pretty consistent, and we use that fund to pay off utility deposits when customers close their accounts. The other major categories are 6.2 million that we have with the State Board of Administration for investments, as well as another $1 million in CDs that we have as well for investments. We also have small amounts for the flexible spending accounts. Those are relatively small, couple thousand here and there. And the pension funds, their operating accounts for the police pension plan, we had 245,000. And for the Claire Singerman plan, we had 515,000. And this is all as of the second quarter. So overall, our cash, we do have cash in the bank to be able to take on our expenditures. We have enough to cover our operating expenses. And throughout the half year, the cash balance has grown and maintained, so we're not going into our reserves. We started off in October with 32 million and went up to 37 million as of, I'm talking just about the operating account now, went up to 37 million in November. Then December, when we get the big influx of property taxes, it went up to 49 million. And then January, it went down a little bit to 47 million, February 47, and in March 48. So we're pretty much consistent in terms of maintaining the cash flow.
What about the reserve fund? Where does that fall into all of these categories that you just stated?
Which one?
The reserve fund, our reserve.
The reserve for the landfill, you mean?
No, not for the land, just the reserve.
General fund reserve.
Oh, general fund reserve. Well, it's part of the pool cash. The 48 million is the pool cash for all the funds. So the way it works is the general fund has a portion or a portion of the entire 48 million. And the other funds, the special revenue, the capital projects funds, they all have a portion of that 48 million. So I'm just talking about the overall cash when I say the 48 million.
Okay, that includes the reserve fund.
You have the number. You have the reserve. Go back. So give them the number.
Sure. The reserves and the non-revenues, and that's a non-operating source of 11,594,290.
You said the reserve. I'm sorry.
You have that on the slides?
I'm sorry. What? Can you repeat that for me, sir?
Sure. It's the non-revenue slide.
I know, but you said the reserve is 11.
Right.
No,
The non-operating source. This is the money you have sitting in reserves.
Yes, it's 11 or 8.
It's 11 million.
It's 11. Okay.
Five,
Okay, I thought we were a little bit worse than that.
11.5. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was 8.
Anything else to add?
Just the overall statement I would make to kind of synthesize what Miguel was saying is our cash position is very strong. When you think about us having $48 million in the bank on an operating budget of around just shy of $60 million, the city is doing healthy, and we just want to make sure that's clear on the record.
Yes, sir. Mr. Manager, the reserve again is 11 million. I just want to be clear on the record.
In your reserve account right now, you have the 5 million we've always had in reserve.
I understand.
Then we did get money from Biscayne Landing from the sale of the land in amount of $4.4 million. So that makes it $9.4 million. The rest of the money is money that's over the course of last year, money reserved for projects. This is non-operated sources. That money will be used for projects that are left over from last year, but it was put into that account. So the money will be used.
That's inaccurate.
That's why
okay,
it's
we
there.
need to fix that because that's a very inaccurate and misrepresentation. Exactly. But not only that, the 4 million, I don't know if this body allocated. Did we do that? Allocate that for that, which I would definitely support that, but I don't know if that's something that we did here. So where are we exactly? So we only at 5 million, or we at 8 million?
You budget 5 every year, so that's
No.
there. Yes, you budget 5 million every year, so that money's there. The additional cash flow.
Wait, no, we can't budget every year because we'll be like at millions. So we had carried over from last year, you saying? So carried over 5 million. So we 5 million. That's it.
You have 5 million that's in reserve. We had the sale of the Biscayne Landing property for $4.4 million.
But why is that in reserve if we did not vote for it to be in
it's
reserve?
it's in a holding place. It's not necessarily, we're not saying it's reserved. It's just in a holding place because the money hasn't been spent.
The answer,
You know,
the question, I think, if you allow me,
Yes,
Mr.
sir,
Vice
go
Mayor,
ahead.
is the cash is there, so it is in our reserve, but it has not been appropriated.
Yeah,
For
you have to be
reserve,
appropriated,
okay.
yeah.
So is that something you guys are recommending?
We
that
we do have a plan. The budget department has sat down with me and gone over a plan. We have not proffered the plan to the council as of yet.
Okay.
So
Because I was.
we will,
sound good
as
to
we
me.
get into the third quarter, we will bring forth a plan, our recommendation of how we think you should deal with that money and the continued payments that will be.
No, we'll have some requests
Well,
too.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I
Well,
know you
the
do, I
council
know.
will will
But I'm
determine
just saying
that.
we have a recommendation.
I see. Okay.
On some of it.
But
In large part is
Yeah.
to help build
Go ahead,
continue
sir.
to build our reserve.
So I have a question. You have $11 million in reserve? You don't? How much money do you have as unallocated fund?
5 million as unallocated.
Okay, that's the reserve.
that's it.
That's the
That's
reason.
need
That's the reserve.
majority
Yes.
in order to touch that money. You said you have 4.4 from Biscayne Landing. Where you got that from?
That's cash that we received.
You received, but
Yes.
a part of the money has been allocated.
To Cagney, the 1.7, but we
Yeah.
still have the
The
that's
rest.
already taken care of, and the rest.
Okay. That's when you don't
Your
have
project
4.4.
your project is safe.
No, that's not what it is. You don't have 4.4. The money is there, but some of the money have been allocated to a project like the $1.7 million. And how much from that 4.4 has been allocated to MOCA, the museum?
Nothing.
It's just the 1.7 that,
Yeah, it's just the
that
1.7. We've not taken,
voted.
this board has not taken any legislative action with regards to the rest of that money. So it has not been allocated to anything.
Okay,
The rest of the money.
all right.
Okay. Where did you get the money for MOCA? From where? The previews unallocated fund?
Yeah, it's Biscayne Landing revenue, I think.
Not Biscayne.
That you had a budget, the MOCA money is coming from the general fund,
Okay.
which was
You mean for the new
appropriated.
budget, for the upcoming budget?
For the upcoming budget, we will discuss that, like, we had the workshop and we talked about it coming, so that will be coming forth. But for the current year, you did allocate money from the general fund for the
MOCA.
purpose of supporting MOCA
That's when you
operations.
haven't had any, you haven't
We have
spent
not
any
allocated
additional-
any additional funds for that. And when we do, it'll come in the form of a budget amendment before this council.
Okay, since you guys mentioned MOCA, are you referring to the $600,000 $48,000 that we gave him as a loan to Mocha Incorporated. Was that, is this what we're talking about?
Previous, if I may, through the manager. Previously, the board did approve, I believe it was $640,000 loan to go to Mocha. The Mocha has not received that cash money as of yet. They haven't used any of the money because we haven't had the correct plan put in place yet for Mocha. We won't be using that money until we get a plan in place. And that was the direction of the board.
So that money is not being included in the 48,000?
No, that money is set aside. No, that money's
It is set aside because it's already allocated for that
Yes, sir.
use. Okay.
Set aside in a different account?
Excuse me, sir?
Set aside where? On the Mocha account?
Yeah, it's appropriated for Mocha already.
Yeah. Okay. Any other? Nothing else? No? All right.
Mr. Mayor, through you to the city manager in a somewhat related or unrelated matter. Have you heard anything new from the State Audit Committee and where they stand with what they're doing about finances?
I have not, and I'll ask the finance director, but the last email that I've been copied on was probably at least 3 weeks ago, asking for some additional payment information, but nothing specific. Ramon Bovar, who's been the lead, he said he was going to be present on site, and we've prepared to receive him, but he has not physically even been here. But they have been, there's been some communication. But as to an end of that audit, I have not heard a word.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. There is no update on city projects. Now we go with city events announcement. Ms. Timothy.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, and members of the public. My name is Cassandra Timothy, and I have the pleasure of sharing all of the exciting events coming up in the City of North Miami's 90th anniversary year. Join the Miami Oratorio Society for an Independence Day celebration at the North Miami Public Library on Saturday, July 2nd at 2 p.m. Under the direction of Andrew Anderson, the large group of talented musicians will perform several musical selections as part of the library's summer reading program. Celebrate Independence Day with the City of North Miami on Monday, July 4th. Enjoy fireworks at sundown, Kids Corner sponsored by Solimia Miami, and live musical entertainment. Admission and parking is free. Gates open at 7 p.m. on the grounds of the Coven Center at Florida International University, FIU Biscayne Bay campus. On Thursday, July 7th at 10 a.m., come out to the North Miami Public Library for the Pangea Production Wild Animal Show. Alligators, exotic birds, snakes, or even a Florida panther may stop by the library for summer reading. The Get in Gear Community Bike Ride takes place on the second Saturday of every month. Join your neighbors on Saturday, July 9th at 8 a.m. in the Mocha Plaza. Ride departs at 8:30 a.m. sharp. Helmets required for participants under the age of 16. Join Councilman Philippe Bien-Aimé and FarmShare as they distribute groceries to the community on Saturday, July 9th at 9 a.m. at Griffin Park. Donations will be one per household. Stay tuned by watching our free governmental programming, NOMI TV, available 24 hours a day through the city's website, www.northmiamifl.gov. Like the City of North Miami on Facebook, follow @NOMI News on Twitter, @NOMI Parks on Instagram, and download the My NOMI mobile app in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Timothy. We'll hurricane preparedness. Nothing.
We have no additional report from since the last meeting.
Since last week. Okay. We have 2 items on the consent agenda, and we need a motion.
So moved to accept consent agenda.
Second.
Second.
Mayor, you said 2 items, just 1 item, if I'm reading this correct, right?
Is A and B.
No, the minutes?
Got it, okay.
Hmm?
So that's
Yeah.
correct, Mayor, you got it.
Mm.
Okay, so I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin to approve the consent agenda as is. That motion was seconded by Mayor Smith-Joseph. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes with a 5-0 vote. Tab C, proposed resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager and city attorney to negotiate and execute a professional service agreement between the city of North Miami and T.Y. Lin International to provide roadway, traffic, and transportation engineering and consultant services for design and construction documents for streetscape improvements along a designated portion of Northeast 125th Street at a cost not to exceed $110,028 in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in the request for qualifications number 12-14-15, continuing architectural and engineering services, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
Thank you very much. Is there any presentation from staff, Mr. Manager?
Yes, sir. But quickly, for clarification, just want to put on the record this item was sponsored by the mayor. The posted agenda had it as city administration, but the staff report shows that it's clearly sponsored by the mayor. So just want to make that clarification.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, council members. What you have before you is a contract for engineering services with the firm T.Y. Lin International. And the purpose of this contract is to provide for the project of the improvements along 125th Street between Northeast 6th Avenue and Northeast 10th Avenue. This project is a project that is a continuing phase of the improvements to the downtown corridor. It is a project which staff has procured and requested a grant from the Florida Department of Transportation, and for which staff has been granted a grant under the Transportation Alternatives Program grant to the tune of $772,000. Now, what the purpose of this contract will be is to prepare all of the design documents, and upon completion of the design documents, the design phase, what staff intends to do is to request the expediting of this grant from the Florida Department of Transportation. In terms of the actual details of the design and the improvement that's going to take place, there is the members of our Public Works Department, in particular our transportation planner, Mr. John O'Brien. He has prepared a brief presentation that he would like to go over some of the details regarding the proposed improvements to the downtown corridor.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Let me try to, oh, here we got help, thank goodness. I'm sure
John,
I could
if
have
you
done
could just
it.
walk them through the design elements so they're clear with what will be.
Okay, I'll try to go as quickly as possible. So these are going to be full designs and construction documents that will be what is necessary in order to get the grant from the Florida Department of Transportation. And it is, the main goal is to make the downtown more pedestrian friendly. And like he said, we did get a significant grant from the Transportation Alternatives Program, but it is currently due in 2020. And by doing all the design work ahead of time, we're going to be able to get the grant sooner than was planned. And I have some more information on the background, but I think it may be a little bit more than you guys want to hear. But if you have any questions.
I sure do.
Yeah.
Well, are you going to go through the slides for it? Do you
Yeah, I
have
was
slides?
wondering if I should or, okay.
Yeah,
I was,
after.
Okay. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. I guess I need my glasses, Mr. Mayor. So this is based on the master plan that was passed by the City Council a couple of years ago, which says basically that we are seeking to have more pedestrian friendly, have as many trees as possible. And this goes into some of the detail on the typical for the road. We do have a lot of limitations because this is an FDOT road. If you look at the road right now, we don't have a lot of amenities for the pedestrians. We don't have the landscaping in place, and this is what we're going to try to do. But there are some obstacles, as you guys know. Our sidewalks are small, and we have the awnings on many locations, and we have the on-street parking. I put in here, you can't put trees right next to the curb like it is here. This is just something that was there before. And I just want you to note, there is a little thing there. Someone has died by hitting this tree. So there are some rules that we have to stick by, and they're not just because they're trying to be mean. There are reasons for it. The other one is the line of sight. You have to design things properly for the line of sight in order to meet the requirements and to be safe. And we've done a lot of this work already, and now T.Y. Lin is going to take it to the next level. Some of the things we're proposing are to do the bulb outs, which will take small portions of the on-street parking area in order to put landscaping, as well as we're going to have planters inside the sidewalk as well, where there will be trees. This is a bit old, but it gives you an idea of how we can try to maximize the use of our right-of-way to maximize the amount of landscaping we can put in. And it includes the trees that are inside the planters in the sidewalk and some of the bulb outs. And I know Councilman DeSome was concerned about the parking. There is some reduction in parking when you do these kinds of bulb outs. But if you organize it well, the impact should be minimal. I also want to point out that one of the things that T.Y. Lin is going to be doing is doing conceptual designs. So you will be able to see what it is that we're planning to do, and we'll be able to get feedback from you and from the public as far as decisions as, how much on-street parking should we use and compare that to landscaping, et cetera, including attempting to do a median if possible, if we eliminate some of the on-street parking. This is just saying that we had designs back in 2010 and 11, but the CRA funding fell through. But since then, it's somewhat good news because FDOT since then has changed a lot of their guidelines for what you can do on the state road if it goes through a downtown like this. And T.Y. Lin is going to take advantage of all these new regulations and maximize what we can do. So I was putting there that we have the conceptual designs are going to be doing. We're going to try to accelerate that grant funding. We're going to also take advantage of the complete streets. We are hoping to add a couple of bus shelters. I know there was some requests for that during the budget hearing, and these will be ADA accessible, which we don't have right now. And it will include new lighting. We now have the old Cobra aluminum lighting, and we hope to replace those with some much nicer units and also have some more of the lower lights, which are more pedestrian friendly. And like I said, consider options, parking versus landscape medians versus more trees. And the other thing that they will be doing is they will have to prepare these documents to the standards of FDOT, and they will actually guide us through what's called the LAP process, which is a very complex process with FDOT, and that is also included in this fee. So if you have any other questions.
Well, just to begin, I'd like to congratulate you, John, Mr. O'Brien, for being in the forefront of these kind of projects. Throughout the whole Miami-Dade County, we know that there is a new wave of, when it comes to transportation and transit, a solution committees being created to address the problems of, transportation throughout the whole Miami-Dade County. So we, in North Miami, we want to be in the forefront of the whole thing, and we don't want to be left, behind. And that's why when we identified, that fund, that was allocated for 2020, and then I asked the question, why do we have to wait 5 years? That was identified since last year. And so the idea for you was to come up with this design project and present it to the powers that be to see if we can get that money to at least maybe 2 or 3 years sooner, depending on how long this design phase takes. And the more that we can speed it up, I think the better it will be for the city of North Miami and for its residents. So thank you very much, John, for really being on the forefront of this.
Thank you.
You said you
Oh, yes, I have a question. Mr. O'Brien, if this is a proposal as far as reading the scope of service for redone, but based on the 2011 report that was submitted to the city, why are we doing another one that's costing 110?
Yes,
Can we
yes.
use, so what's the, it's 5 years old, so have there been some changes? Some stuff that FDOT is looking for that we don't have in this particular report? So just explain to me, I guess, in the public, why are we doing another one that's costing us 100 something?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's very important. We do save some money because we did have some of the groundwork laid from before. But since that time, FDOT has come in and they have resurfaced the road and made changes to it. We're going to have to resurvey everything and start from scratch on that, and then we're going to build the other things. The other a very important thing, like I mentioned, is we are going back and doing conceptual. So in the past, what we had is what we had. And by the way, it did also help. Not only did it get this going, but the only reason we got that grant is because we had a plan. And we said, hey, you know, we're not just kidding around. We're doing a plan, and all we need is some of your money in order to try to get it done. So sometimes we'll do things. You may get some things from us in the planning department that we need to do some things ahead of time. And that's because when you go for a grant, you can't just have like a wish, you know, we wish it would be nicer. It has to be very specific. And like I said, the other key thing is that things have changed in the regulations. And T.Y. Lin is going to take advantage of those things and we're going to kind of push the envelope a little bit on what can get done, hopefully.
Okay, and my last comment, Mr. Mayor, is we are going to get conceptual. Is it possible that at least the council will get a chance to give feedback before, as opposed to once it's final, it's
Oh,
done?
yes.
Because one of my biggest concern, and I did speak to one business owner who was concerned about that, is whatever trees that they're going to put, the top of trees, but not only the trees does not block the businesses, but as well as the signage of the business, and that's very important for our, especially our downtown
Right,
area.
right. Yes, no, it'll definitely be coming back to you, and also because I don't want to be blamed for everything, and I want to make sure that I have the support of the council when we do things. So it works out great.
Thank you very much.
When we decide on, have we decided on the type of trees yet, or will that be part of the plan?
That will definitely be part of the plan. And there is, you know, a lot of things in the master plan specifying a lot of shade trees, and yet we also have to balance out what the businesses are saying about having visibility. So that's why I'm saying we definitely will be going to the public and we'll be getting feedback to maximize, you know, what we can get done. But yeah, no, the landscaping, we have guidelines from our master plans, and also we'll come up with other options as part of this process.
Are we set on the amount and of the bulb outs and the distance between them, or is that going to be part of your?
No, that is 100% part of this. This is a key component of this.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Great job. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Well, the last statement that I would like to make regarding this project is that it seems like it is kind of a time-sensitive project. It's not like the other ones that we just approve on the dais. We give our blessings, and then they just go on the file somewhere, and nobody moves on them.
Oh, no, it's very important because, as you know, the budget process
Yes.
at FDOT takes a long time. So the sooner we get this done, the sooner we can go ask for amendments to the current budgets and get things changed. They plan 5 years in advance. So we get the grant, we're like, whoa, excellent. Then we get the thing that says, okay, in 2020 you'll be getting this money. You know? But what they want to see is commitment from us, and that we know what we want, and that we're ready to go. Then they're willing to, with a little help from council and our mayor on the MPO council, to get this moved forward.
Thank you very much. Now, at this time, did you want to say something? Mr. Bien-Aimé? No. Nothing? I guess at this time we'll open it to the public for anyone who wishes to be heard on the item. We are on tab C, It's a project about 125th Street repairs, streetscape. Streetscape design. I see no one coming, so public hearing is closed. Please, when I call for public hearing, if anyone who wishes to speak on an item, at the end of staff presentation, try to make yourself available. Try to get close to the mic so we don't waste too much time, please.
Let me see if I can turn this around.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
My name is Jessica Alston, 1140 Northwest, 125th Street. I would like to see, I had requested before, but I would like to see, in celebration of President Barack Obama, a street named after him in the city of North Miami. And I would like to ask or propose if possibly a name change be incorporated into the 125th Street project.
You know, Ms. Ashton, typically you would, I know you know the process very, very, very well. What you're expressing now should be done during, citizen forum. Now we are on an item about 125th Street.
I'm talking about the street that you're talking about the design for.
Oh, you want that street to be named after Obama?
Yes.
Or 125th Street?
Yes.
A part of the project?
Yes.
I guess it's okay. Go ahead.
Well, I think
You want that to be, you want that to be incorporated as part of the design?
Yes, it's part of the project.
Yeah, from how many blocks, from where to where?
For the name to be Barack Obama Boulevard, or something to that effect.
From what avenue to what avenue?
The downtown area.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone wishes to be heard on the item? Public hearing is now closed. Now we come to the dais for any possible discussions or comments or additions.
Move approval.
Second.
I have a motion made by Councilwoman Case to approve tab C as is. That motion was seconded by Vice Mayor Desume. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes with a 5-0 vote. Tab D. Proposed resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, authorizing the City Manager and City Attorney to negotiate and execute a professional service agreement between the City of North Miami and EBS Engineering, Inc. to provide roadway, traffic, and transportation engineering and consultant services for a right-of-way condition survey of city-maintained streets, alleyways, and sidewalks with a management program that will prioritize repairs, replacement, and improvements of such right-of-ways at a cost not to exceed $176,000 in accordance with the terms, conditions, and specifications contained in the request for qualifications number 12-14-15, continuing architectural and engineering services, providing for an effective date and for all other purposes.
So as I understand it, Mr. Manager, this is the item that we've been talking about for a comprehensive survey of the entire city.
Correct. And again, clarification, this item was sponsored by the mayor as well. So I just want to put that on the record. Through the mayor, this is the item that I think individually have briefed each of the council members on. In my getting settled in the city, I've gone through a few rides and walks with the members. We've talked about various street repairs, sidewalk swales that need to be done throughout the city. My proposal back in gathering all of that was for us to take a more strategic approach to that exercise, which is to go through this process, have all of our city streets do a conditional analysis, street, sidewalk, swales, drainage, and be able to prioritize, if you will, both at the district level and citywide level, and use that as support of a funding and financing program, be that either pay as you go as we're doing right now in the budget process on an annual basis, or develop a bond-financed plan to attack a larger portion of the plan, but at least have a stronger, more recent basis to do that analysis with. So I'm asking that you support that effort as a council, and we move forward. If you want to put a few items on the record, Alberto, but I would like to say Alberto did excellent job in procuring this item. He was able to get the company to negotiate them down by over $80,000 to get this to this price. So staff did an excellent job at bringing this item forward.
Good evening again, Mayor, Council members. Alberto Estrada, Purchasing Department. Just following what the City Manager has mentioned, what you have before you is a contract with the engineering firm EBS Engineering, and the purpose of that is to conduct this study, analysis, assessment, and to submit a report for more of a comprehensive study and review of the present condition citywide for our streets and roads. And again, the purpose of this is to give the administration and you all, the council members, a better idea, a more comprehensive idea of what the conditions is currently. The estimated timeline for all of this work, and it includes a significant amount of
Not
fuel.
9 months. I know you.
Mr. Mayor, you're a mind reader. Yeah, that's exactly. It's 9 months. Keep in mind that this includes significant field work, gathering and analyzing of data, preparing and submitting reports for our review, recommendations, and comments. And so this final work altogether should be completed within 9 months. And the negotiated price was not to exceed amount of $176,000.
Thank you very much. Mr. Manager, I mean, you and I, we've talked many times about, and I've said it many times here on the dais too. I mean, if I want to leave a legacy and be known as any type of mayor, I want to be known as a street mayor, a road mayor. And our city is old, 90 years old, and we are celebrating that. So 10 years from now, when we get ready to celebrate our centennial, I like, for the streets, to show that that we've been doing something. And you go to different cities, that's what commissions do. They allocate money and they try to do their best to rejuvenate their city. And if you have a city with beautiful buildings but with dilapidated streets, it's a no-brainer that it simply doesn't match. So now one question. You think, just to piggyback on what John said, I'm sorry, John, I keep calling you John, I should say Mr. O'Brien. You think if after we get this comprehensive survey or studies done, that would put us in a good position where we could go to FDOT and see if they could even partially subsidize us?
And I'll address that. What I've seen in the past, what you can do with a study like this, and it's not designed, but a study, you can go back to FDOT and look for opportunities. A lot of times they're already working on a portion of a road or one of their roads and seeing how we can work in conjunction with them, perhaps to get funding for them to fund a portion of the work that we wanted done on one of our streets or an adjacent street. So I know that opportunity always exists when you have a comprehensive plan, and we will utilize the plan for that and the other reasons that I stated.
All right, so at this time, let's do public hearing, and then we'll come to the dais. If anyone wants to be heard on this item, please come forward. If you want to come after Ms. Brown, please come to the front row.
Good afternoon, Judy Brown, 1100 Northwest 128 Terrace. I'm delighted to hear that the mayor has put this item out for a comprehensive plan. However, once again, we're spending a large sum of money to get another study done. And we have been talking with and working with our code enforcement office, sir, and the department, identifying the alleyways, especially over in Sunkett's Grove, that are overgrown, and then we know that they need maintenance. And it just doesn't seem to be any money anywhere to maintain these alleyways. However, once again, we're gonna spend $176,000 for another study, a comprehensive study. And I know we have adequate city employees that possibly could do this. I know I have been talking about this with the Code Enforcement Office, and also spoke to Public Works because we had them to come out to our homeowners meeting. And we basically identified, you know, the areas that are grossly overgrown. And with the impending hurricane season, we need relief now, not 9 months later. So I just want to put this out on the records, because I wish that we could get some type of relief for the overgrown alleys, especially over in District 4. And I know that this is just not a problem for District 4, that it is an ongoing problem. And it has been for quite a while, because it hasn't been money allocated to maintain our alleyways, because it's a gray area there. I was told that it's really for the citizen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Brown. I mean, this item will not preclude administration from addressing urgent matters such as this one that you just mentioned. I think as we go along, and the alleyways happen to be not a complicated issue, but my understanding from staff, what they've explained to me, alleyways are supposed to be maintained by the property owners, most of them. And in many times, if they are not and there are violations, the procedure, I believe, is we find them and they go through the process of either appealing or paying whatever fees there is. And if they do not comply, then the city goes and do the job of cleaning it, and then we pass the fees along to them. But that process can be a little bit lax at times, and I think that's what Ms. Judy Brown is alluding to. The fact that we need to be a little bit more astute and in adhering to the actual procedure or process that needs to be executed when we have those alleyways that needs to be attended to. Do you want to say something?
No. Public hearing after.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Annie Montgomery, 2082 Laurel Lane. I'm around the city once in a while, a few days a week, and I speak to a lot of residents, few. And I'm with Judy Brown. I agree exactly what you're saying. So I was wondering if the city ever gives consideration to abandon these alleyways and split them between two owners. And the purpose of the alleyways were to pick up garbage from the back, and that's gone because our trucks do not fit down these alleyways. So if the city would consider abandoning them to the residents that along each side, I think that would be saving for the city, and a lot of the owners that I speak to would appreciate that. The only problem might be is with Florida Power and Light that has an easement sometimes, but they can go through the owner's yard to service their lines. And that's all I have to say, but I'm very much in favor of what Judy Brown said. The alleyways, including the east side, west side, everywhere in the city, are a disgrace. Thank you.
You want to say something?
Through the mayor, this issue was recently, I guess, re-brought up to my attention. We had some of our leadership in UB go out with the meter readers this past week. I have video that was presented to me, and speaking to some of these very alleys, I'm developing a plan of attack with code enforcement and with Public Works that I'll present to you individually. But I guess suffice to say that over the next few weeks, we will be taking some action relative to addressing some of these alleyways, because they're not safe. The video I saw, some of these were so overgrown. We're sending our staff into these things to read meters, and you can't even find the meter boxes, so we need to address them. Is
there any way, I know Ms. Brown has been very not just interested, but the active in addressing. I mean, if Ms. Brown wants, in develop whatever steps that are you going to be taking. If there is any way, you can put them together and put her like Mary Baby on a mailing list and just let her know, and any other citizen who's interested in knowing what's being done in attacking this issue. And I think we should do that to let them know what we are doing. Did you want to say something?
No, after him I'll speak. He wants to speak.
Go ahead.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. I'd like to reserve taking a position on this particular study, but I would like to share maybe an observation or a concern I have over past studies that we've had and future studies that we'll have. And that is that it seems all too often we're sort of short-sighted on our studies and what we're trying to achieve. We really don't look at the big picture and what might happen in 10, 20, 50 years from now. And Mr. Mayor, you mentioned setting up or having a legacy, and I believe that is something all of us should be concerned with. Maybe not, things may not take place in our lifetime, but this city should grow into something bigger and better than what it is. In past studies, it surprised me that time and time again, there was never any gesture to change the circulation pattern at all, that a street need to be either widened or closed off or made one way or doubled up or opened up or whatever it might be, that in our entire city, it's sort of so perfect that it works the way it is. I see traffic, and people complain about traffic, I hear that all the time, but there are certain cities that have had vision. I mean, New York in 1811 set up their traffic grid, and it can support more cars today with that great density than our downtown Miami and Biscayne Boulevard can. And there are cities all over the world, and even locally, that have had better plans, that have had larger medians and had better view lines and parks and terminus and things that connect their city better. And if we think small and just have little building after little building, and we limit it here, and we limit the street, and we limit everything else, we're going to have a very limited city. And I just encourage the council to think bigger, broader, and to have that long-range plan that we gradually build into and not contradict. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Beverly Hilton, 12495 Northwest 6th Avenue. I'm in agreement with Ms. Brown. We have done so many studies. I feel if we use we have our community homeowners association, we have our code enforcement. I've talked to my council several times, and we're working together in providing street calming dividing, fixing our streets. We don't have the funds to do that, but we have funds, $176,000 for research. I think the fund could be used in a better way. Thank you.
Thank you.